Hi, and welcome back to another episode of The Clydes, a place where we talk about ministry, our relationship, and anything else we're learning in our current season.
Specific. Wow.
In this episode, we're going to be talking about something that, if I'm honest, I personally have not been the best at, but I am getting better at it recently. As always, I am Elizabeth Clyde, and I am joined by my co-host, Taylor Clyde.
What's going on, everybody?
If you are watching on YouTube, we are extra bummy today because we are about to go on a road trip.
We're headed to Sparkle City, and so you get what you get, and you don't throw a fit.
Is it called Sparkle City?
Yeah, Spartanburg.
I did not know that.
Mm-hmm. You know why?
Why? Sparkles?
I have no idea.
Vampires.
I have no
Twilight.
idea.
Anyway, yeah, we're going to go visit some friends.
Yeah. So we talked about it, and well, actually, it wasn't last week. It was probably like a month ago. We were trying to figure out when we could get up there. I get to go and lead worship for my buddy Tyler, who was on the episode a few episodes ago.
A while ago, yeah.
Yeah, forever ago.
The beginning.
But it's really exciting because I get to go up there and lead worship and give his guy a week off.
That'd be fun. And we get to hang out with our friends.
Man, so it's going to be super fun.
Very excited.
Hey, last week in the Q&A, if you're watching on Spotify, you know we drop a Q&A on every episode. We asked you guys what the hardest thing that you had to wait for was, and we got some great responses, and one of those, let's just kind of like hash them out, just kind of talk for just a quick second about them. One of them was focused around friendships, and I think that that's a really hard one because it's not like family. You're not waiting for something regarding your family, right? Because like with family, you're stuck with them. But with friends, there's this like really odd, or not odd, but like this really delicate balance of like you don't want to offend anybody, but you also don't want to say the wrong thing, and you don't know what their past has, given them the baggage of, like what they're carrying in from their experiences and their perspectives. So yeah, waiting for things in your friendship in the realm of friendships has got to be pretty tough. Another really great response that we got was around trauma, specifically around an abusive situation, and yeah, that can take a really long time, and that can be really hard to wait for healing from. But I think it's a good thing because that's not a wound that you want to heal, quickly. That's a deep-seated wound that you need to really give time to heal, and it takes time, so you have to wait for it. So really good stuff. Thank you guys for sharing that. We're going to post a Q&A on this episode as well, so be sure that you drop what you think the answer to that is in your own context, in your own thing. So let's talk really quick. The title of this episode, you clicked on it because you saw the words grow as you go. And I don't know why you clicked on that, but you did. Something in you resonated with that. So grow as you go. Like why did we call this episode that? How did we get to this whole conversation?
Well, it started back in September. I don't know if I mentioned it on the podcast or not, but I wanted to get some coaching just because with my own personal trauma, I needed an outlet. And so I found this coaching that I really wanted to do, especially because I felt inspired to write a book. However, it didn't start until February.
Had to wait for it.
And that's like a whole 6 months, I think.
Yeah.
And so instead, I did get into counseling, which gave me a lot of healing, a lot of processing. It's so hard because I felt like some days I feel pretty good. And when I saw the email, only 3 days left to sign up for these training that I wanted to do 6 months ago. And then I saw the price tag. I'm like, ooh, I think I'm good. I think I'm good.
Hard pass.
My time right now is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
We have that land payment, so I didn't really want to invest hundreds of dollars. But then Taylor, I said, dang, we didn't mention this on the mentorship episode, but it goes full circle now. Taylor, you've been in a cohort of sorts with a worship dude who leads worship at that one place. I don't know why I can never think of his name, but he's a big deal. He's been around for a while. You'll say his name later. That's not just clickbait. Like, I just truly cannot think of his name.
I just don't know him. He's a big deal.
I don't know him. No. Yeah. But you've been doing that once a week. You have been getting together via Zoom with some worship leaders, and you guys kind of talk about your week.
Yeah.
You share about your ministry. You share some highs and lows, and you kind of get some gleaning from, is it John? Okay,
That's
okay,
literally his name.
but
Good
it is the
job.
most basic, one of the most basic
You
names.
could have not known it and still said it
Okay,
and
all
still been
right,
close.
cool. So you've been getting training from John from that
Yeah.
one place, and so kind of with you already being a part of that process, it kind of gave me permission to go ahead and take that leap. And thankfully, the Lord is so kind because I had an above and beyond cookie decorating classes for Valentine's Day
You had a
where
lot.
a church invited me to join their the Galentine, and so I helped 33 I think women decorate cookies, and the check they wrote me, if you minus the ingredients and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that, is about just a little bit more than the cost of this 6 weeks coaching that I'm going to be a part of. Well, I
So
am a
cool.
part of now. And
So
so
cool.
knowing that check was coming, seeing you grow, I was like, you know what? It's go time. And I like that you
I love that.
named this Grow As You Go, because you didn't know the name of my cohort is Go and Tell Gals.
Yeah, that's
And it's
crazy.
it's
Yeah.
based off of Mary, who, she was the first one to see Jesus was resurrected, and so she went and told the disciples. So it's kind of like equipping. There's 4 different tracks to choose from: writing, small business, ministry, and communications.
Cool.
And I was originally interested in the writing one, but then I found out you get access to all tracks at the end of the 6 weeks.
So nice.
And so
I love that.
one of my, like, I guess people, my John, if you will, Andy Andrews, she is leading up, or she's doing a special track, expert of the communications track. So I switched to that one so I could attend that one
That one's also on
live.
podcasting, right?
Yep, that one's on podcasting and communications. And so
Sweet.
I was like, I already do systematic ecology. We have the Clyde, so and I've preached before, so I really
Yeah.
didn't at the time feel the need to go into communications because, like, I do it.
Right.
But as I don't know, like, literally I signed up for writing, and the day before it started I was like, I need to switch to communication. So I don't want to be like that was a God thing or the Holy Spirit was nudging me, but I made the switch and we had our first session the other day. So
How was it?
it was good. I was a little disappointed that it's webinar and not Zoom, so I wanted a little bit more of the what's the word I'm thinking about? Not personality, the personal touch of
When
it.
you say webinar, what do you mean webinar?
So we don't have our Zoom cameras on, and Jess Connolly is the leader of this I guess coaching group. She's the one that created Go and Tell Gals, and so she is on the webinar coaching us, if you say,
Yeah.
and we have the chat to ask questions.
Okay.
But it's not an open dialogue, and I get it because still, even after COVID, not everyone understands how to mute their mic and Zoom, and they might use the restroom while on the call, and it could be more distracting than good.
Terrible.
So I understand why,
Yeah.
but I was kind of bummed.
All good. Still super cool that you're able to do it. I'm really proud that you took the time to invest in that.
Dude, 8 p.m. on a Tuesday.
Massive.
So that's just late.
Little sacrifice, but
Little
really
bit.
good.
So yeah, and growing as you go, and investing in yourself, it doesn't always have to be monetary.
Mm-hmm.
It can just be time.
Yeah.
It can be your resources sometimes.
Yeah, definitely.
It looks different to different people in different seasons.
Definitely. So let's jump into what we're going to talk about. A couple different major categories we're going to hit on today. First off, we're going to talk about some biblical foundations. As always, we're people of the word, right? So we're going to root the conversation in the Bible. So we're going to talk about a biblical foundation for personal development as it relates to our conversation. We're going to talk about avenues for investing in yourself, and then we're going to hit practical steps to invest in yourself. And we're going to do this in a very quick amount of time because I've got to get a haircut. And we have to
I
get
still
on
have
the
to
road.
finish packing. So
So
it's
this
fine.
is going to be a valuable conversation for you, but we're going to move at the speed of light. So you better hold on. It's
Right,
going to be
so
really
make
good.
sure you DM us if you want us to jump on our shorts or reels and
Yeah.
kind of go further into a topic we hit. But just going with the biblical foundations, I
Sure.
know Romans 12:2 is a really big one in discipleship. So could you read that for us and then
Yeah.
kind of tell me how we can apply that to our personal and spiritual growth?
Absolutely.
We love a good Romans.
I just have to find it. I do love Romans. Romans is...
Isn't Romans like 5:8 your favorite scripture?
It is. It is. It is. It is Paul's greatest literary achievement.
I don't know. I like Philippians.
Doesn't matter.
We can agree to disagree. Go ahead.
Anyways, Romans 12:2, it says, "Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind." I love that word transformed is, it's talking about not staying the same as where you are. It's like a caterpillar, when he goes into metamorphosis or whatever. He goes into that shell, and then he transforms into a butterfly. So he says, hey, don't be conformed to this world. Don't be just like this world, but be transformed, be changed by the renewal of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God, what is good, and what is acceptable and perfect. So I love, again, when we're talking about personal development, I love that it doesn't have to be this, hey, go and get a self-help book, or hey, go and get, this guy's podcast, or go and get, buy time with this CEO or whatever it is. It's like, hey, there is an idea that you have to change if you want to grow and you want to develop, and we find this in the Word. But I love this. He's talking about renewing your mind first. So it's not about, changing the way you dress, changing the way you eat, not about taking cold showers at 5 a.m., or, doing this morning routine that the It Girl on TikTok or on YouTube does. Off the record, I am obsessed with those videos.
I know you are.
I love it. Morning routine videos.
He's like, let's put on this cleaning video and clean the whole house.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm just kind of, can we chill and veg out?
So, I mean, as we talk about our personal and spiritual growth, I think that it's important to realize that no matter how long that you've been saved, you should still be transforming. No matter if you've been saved for 5 months or 50 years, like, you can still grow, you can still transform. And that's what the Word's calling us to. It's that continuously being transformed by the renewal of our mind. And that's a daily process.
I like how, because I never really think of defining or expounding on the word transform, because you know what it means.
Sure.
And so when you did the metaphor of the caterpillar transforming into the butterfly, I just think of like different ingredients too. Like whenever you cook sugar and it transforms into caramel, that butterfly can never go back to being a caterpillar. That caramel can never go back to being the raw sugar.
Yeah.
And it says continue to transform. So we'll continue to change and transform, but meaning we are not going back to what we were.
And who would want to?
But we do it. We do it so much, and it says in scripture, like a dog that goes back to his vomit. Because we like the comfortable. We like sometimes I feel like I almost enjoy the misery, because it kind of I put it all about me. Where was me? I'm so sad. Look at me. And it's familiar, so it's comfortable. It's crazy.
That. I was just going to say that. We go back to that because for some reason we still have that set, our own selfishness and our own self-centeredness as our default. So we go back to that. It's comfortable. It's familiar. It's the old self. I know it. It's me. But yeah, when you boil sugar, you can't ever turn that back. And so once we have tasted and seen of the goodness of God and what He's done in our life, once we've seen the promised land of the newness that He's made us to be, why would we ever want to go back? But we do. It's a thing. That's so true. That is so true. Okay, so we set the precedent. We know it's in the Bible. It's important. It's good stuff. Let's jump over to some specific avenues for investing in yourself. And this is where it's going to get like really practical. So you've already mentioned your group that you're in, which is really cool. But there's such a value in joining with other believers and with other like-minded people in something that you want to grow in. And I think the major point of that is to go, hey, I want to find somebody or something that is like 2 steps ahead of me, that's in like a season that's just past mine. It's not like completely unattainable because it's like so far out of reach that it's so far beyond where you are today and out of your reality. But it's just like a step farther. We talked about mentorship in a couple episodes ago and having those older voices in your life, people who've been around the block that have seen things. And this is like a part 2 of that conversation. Right. You've got to find those people that are one step ahead of you and in something, especially in something that you want to grow in, and then latch onto them.
And especially, and we mentioned it last episode, like a mentorship, or even, it's Jess Connolly, it's not going to be my end all go all. I'm going to try and be just like her.
Right.
No, she's there.
Don't do that.
She's there to equip me. She's there to give me the tools, and I get to choose if I'm going to use the tools or not. And so
Absolutely.
oftentimes it's like, okay, well, I signed up, I showed up. Why am I not changed?
Yeah.
No, you're only halfway there. And I loved what, just to share like a little nugget that I learned,
Ooh, share it with
is
us.
she started off with, where do you want to be at the end of this week, 6 weeks? And she turned off her camera and she wanted us to write down for like, 2-3 minutes what we wanted to be, where we wanted to see ourselves, who we wanted to be. And once we came back, she said, you need to quit that image, that ideal self that
Man,
you want to be. It's not good enough,
ouch.
because you are the best version of yourself right now. The
Sure.
current you is like 100 times better than what you wish to be in the future. And that was so, I know people in the chat said that was so freeing, because they never really thought about that. They're always striving to be an unattainable version of themselves, when God has just called you right where you are in your mess to start now, to be now.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because we're talking about this episode, and I think I'm an Enneagram 3. We've talked about this before. And the tendency is there's like a stigma that when you think about personal development, and full disclosure, I love reading self-development books. I love all of those kind of things like that, because I like growing and constantly growing. It's a personal value of mine. But the temptation is, like, when you consistently work out for a long time, like, body dysmorphia can become like a temptation in your life, where if you miss a week of working out, you're sitting here going, I'm so stressed out because I feel like I'm losing muscle mass. I'm not getting gains. I'm getting fat. These are all these like lies the enemy puts in your mind. And the temptation is, the more that you start to pursue personal development, it can become addictive. And you can always go, every morning I'm waking up and I got to learn one thing. I got to do this thing. And I think to an extent that's good, but everything in moderation, right?
Don't use it as your drug for endorphins. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's not your hit of dopamine to
That's not.
accomplish something.
It's do not use that to make yourself feel validated.
Yeah,
When that's Jesus's job.
for sure.
And
You
being
have to start
secure
with that.
in Christ.
Absolutely, yeah. One of the things that I learned in probably several years now, I bought a course from Carrie Newhoff.
I was so mad when you bought that course.
Yeah, it was
It was
expensive.
so expensive. I'm like, why are you doing this? Why spend this money? We all know I'm a cheapskate.
Yeah.
And Taylor loves to invest
You're just a
in
thrifty
himself.
housewife, Liz. You're
That's
just
so funny. So someone called me and was like, hey, I know you're a thrifty housewife. And they meant it as a compliment. Like, they did not mean it any derogative. And because I have a
No,
relationship
no.
with that person, it's hilarious. They just need it. They're like, do you want to come clean my house? Once again.
I like how you changed the impression, because some people may connect the
Yeah,
dots
no,
of
I
your
know,
impression.
because I'm a really good impression. I'm like, let me not do the impression. They they will know. But yeah, continue.
Yeah, so I got this Carey Nieuwhof course, and Carey Nieuwhof, if you're not familiar with him, he's a really influential. He's a pastor. He's a great. I think he's a blogger. He's a communicator, and he's got these courses. And the one that I got several years ago was called the High Impact Leader, and I obviously
You've watched it at least 3 times. I've
It's
watched
phenomenal.
it with you as well.
I'm trying to be a high impact leader. So this guy has literally written a book and a course. And so I was like, yep, take my card. And so one of the things that he talks about in that kind of relates to what you were just saying. He said, when you're looking at your calendar and you're looking at you're planning out your day or your week or your month, or even maybe even your quarter, if you're really ahead of the game, he said, one of the things that you should do is don't start with all the tasks and the things that you have to accomplish. Go and don't ask yourself what you want to accomplish. Ask yourself, it's mind shift. Ask yourself, who do I want to become? Because if you start and you go, I got to take the kids to this thing. I got to wash the clothes. I got to do this kind of stuff. I got to, whatever else you add to your list. That's the stuff you're going to do, but it's not who you're going to become. You're going to become tired. You're going to become exhausted. You're going to be productive, but only for a short amount of time, because you're going to end up burning out. But imagine if you started and you went, okay, I got my open calendar right here. I'm ready to plan my day, plan my week. Who do I want to become? I want to be a more grounded person in the Word. Suddenly, you now in your mind go, okay, I've got to make time for the Word. So 15 minutes every morning, I'm going to set aside this block of time for reading my Bible. Okay, I want to be a generous person. Okay, so on Sunday, you write, give tithe, check. And then boom, like you've got these things. There's still tasks that you have to do, but you've shifted your mindset away from the things you have to
You
do.
have your tasks. You control your tasks instead of
Yeah.
letting your tasks overwhelm you.
And even more so, you're selective about what you do based upon who you want to become. And that's a powerful place to be.
I like it.
Super, super good.
I
So
like it.
let me ask you this. We're talking about avenues for investing in yourself. Have you ever been to any conferences that helped you grow? It could be spiritually, it could be emotionally, financially, whatever else.
Yeah. So financially, I would say going through Financial Peace University.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Big,
okay,
big
okay.
help. Spiritually, I talked about how I go to women conferences. I go to Seacoast Chosen's conference every
Yeah.
year. And next week, I go to If Gathering in Dallas, Texas. I'm very
Wild.
excited about that.
Yeah.
And I just want to also kind of expand on that. You may not have the time or the investment right now to join conferences, to join a wow.
Cohort is a tough word.
Cohort. You
Yeah.
may not have that. I mean, you could be a single mom of three, so there's no way you can just fly to Texas for a weekend. But but I love the church. I love the body. I love
Yeah.
the local body of Christ
Yeah, yeah.
because you can join a small group. And so I think of how we have this beautiful group right now at the Somerville campus, and it's called Mama Bear Apologetics. So
Yes.
even if you're a single mom, you can drop those kids to be well taken care of at small group and then go get invested into
Yep.
someone who is a higher season in your life,
Yep.
one of our pastors, and they can tell you how to share Jesus with your kids.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe you just need a mental break with the outdoors and you get replenished with the outdoors. Or we have a kayaking group where you can go with like-minded believers, and it may not be a devotional type deal, but if you are feeling heavy burden and you go out on that water with other believers and you get that community,
Yes.
you can literally, we are called to carry one another's burdens. You
Yep.
know, it's not so heavy with
So
a group
good.
of people. And I think about, I go sometimes to, we have a walk with faith group. Well, just twice a month, a lot of women will get together at different state parks or different walking trails, and we just walk. And sometimes I'll talk to the people and have a good time, and other times I will be in the back just enjoying being still around people, but to myself, and
Yeah.
enjoying nature, because I wouldn't just go to drive 45 minutes to a trail to walk by myself. That's
God, I
silly.
would.
You would, but I would not.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
in growing in yourself and investing in yourself, it doesn't just look like joining a cohort. It doesn't just look like going to conferences, but it can be Bible studies. It can be just having that mentorship. It looks so different, but you just need to grow.
Yeah. You mentioned financial peace. What about you going through, not teaching it, what about you going through financial peace had the most impact on you and grew you the most?
The same as I mentioned before with the kayaking group, it's the community.
Okay.
We are better together. And I know that is so cliche and I know that is so played out, but truly that accountability and being around people in the same season of life,
So good.
when you encourage each other, like, you have debt, I have debt. Let's get out of this together. Let's hold each other accountable. I just cut up a credit card. I'm going to rejoice with you.
Yeah.
Like, that was the most
So
exciting.
good.
People cutting off credit cards. Someone sold their truck they didn't need. And we
Yeah.
are rejoicing because people are finding freedom, whether it's spiritual, whether it's financial, whether it's from trauma.
Yep.
When people find freedom, you want to be around people who are going to celebrate that.
Definitely.
Because if
Yeah.
you are around negative people, like, that drain you, not okay.
No. And misery loves company.
They do.
So it's like a magnet.
And it's such a fine line, and I learned in counseling too, it's okay to be selfish. It's okay. You do not, no one is entitled to your time.
All right, let's talk about some practical steps to investing in yourself. We're going to wrap up here. This will be our last little section, and then we're
Okay.
going to close up in the next 5 minutes.
So tell me how some practical steps for you, because I just talked a lot.
Sure. Well, I think practically it is like anything else that you want to accomplish in your life. You have to have a plan. And so if you are hearing this conversation and you're like, man, like hearing them talk about the stuff that they're doing and their cohorts and their Zoom groups and their conferences, I kind of want to do that. That kind of stuff some of it does, like we talked about, some does. Some of these things do, and some they do not require financial, some kind of like pay-in, some kind of buy-in. So that may look like if you want to attend a conference, you maybe have to set some money aside every month. Mm-hmm. Maybe you find the conference now. These guys publish and promote this stuff months in advance, sometimes 6 months in advance.
I just found, can we share documents on Spotify?
I don't know.
Oh, well, I just found, because I'm teaching a stewardship class.
Sure.
In May, and so I found a really cool document where you can save $1,000 in a year. And so you guys could even use that method and put that $1,000 for investing in yourself. Oh, yeah. Whether it's conferences, it's like one week is like $2. Like you can save $2 a week. So
interesting. Yeah, we'll have to look into that. That's sharing. Pretty good. But you have to have a plan. So maybe set aside, figure out how much the conference is or how much the course is, and then set aside a little bit of money every month to pay for that. I would also say look around. If maybe you're not even there yet, maybe you don't have an idea of where you want to go or what you want to do, I would say look at the things that you're doing in your life right now, the daily things, the stuff that's like, okay, I do this for my job, or I do this for that. Back a few months ago, I think we talked about this on the pod before, but I was in a project management season of work, and I was doing this all the time for work. So I bought into a Google certification for project management because I knew it was something that I needed for my job. I wanted to excel in that because I'm not going to stay the same. I'm obviously going to be, try to be the best at everything that I can do. So I bought that because it was something I was doing every day for my job, and I wanted to grow in that. So look at the things that you're doing already in your life and then see how you can make that better. Google, courses on this, or, Zoom groups on this, or better yet, use YouTube.
Dude, YouTube is so good. I was thinking about that last night as I'm decorating one of my cakes. I was thinking, they did not teach me this in culinary school.
But where'd you learn it? Instagram Reels.
Instagram, practicing.
Yes.
But culinary school really got me in the position to base ice a cake very well.
Which is crucial. Very
crucial. Everything else, technique-wise, I had to go find on my own.
That's wild. And it's stuff that you stumbled upon. Mm-hmm. Like Instagram Reels, it's so funny to watch you scroll because it's literally just people doing crazy cakes.
Well, yeah, your TikTok and Reels is all sound production and music. Yeah, and 1, 2, tempo. And mine's all cake decorating and cookie flooding.
Yep. I'll say that too. Like, if you're already on TikTok, you're already on Instagram, you're probably getting these things. Like, so just like pay attention to them. I don't know. There's stuff already out there that's being shoved in your face anyways.
But also join a small group. And a lot of the times other churches, I go to Freedom's Girls Night Out every single year. And it's a church I visit once a year.
Sure.
Have no connection to really.
But you grow.
But I go every year.
Yep.
And it's great. And it's free.
It is so free. And you grow through it. It's not some massive thing you've got to invest in.
There's so much free stuff around.
Yeah.
You just have to look for it.
Yeah, super good. Super good. Well, we got to wrap up today, but hey, thank you so much, guys, for jumping into this conversation with us. If you liked it, of course, be sure to add a little thumbs up. Let's see, Liz. Let's see if the video works. Come on, there it is.
I finally got my thumb to work.
Give it a thumbs up. Drop a comment. If you're listening or watching on Spotify, you already know what to do. Answer that Q&A. Hey, be sure to follow us on Instagram as well, at Elizabeth P. Clyde, at Taylor Clyde. Send us a DM with an idea for a future episode that you think would make for a really cool conversation that we have. Liz never pays attention to the outro of this podcast if you're watching because she always tries to get the video effects to work.
How do you do the peace sign again? I mean, the confetti, the fireworks? I'm listening.
But thanks again for listening, and we will see you guys on the next episode.
Bye.